from my early childhood, I was dreaming to travel with my dog. And actually, I took when the pandemic started. But I never thought about it like as a business or whatever. And the thing which is important to mention, she is 19 kilo. So she is pretty big, and normally the airplanes, they accept dogs up to 8 kilo to the cabin. So when we needed to move from Bulgaria to Argentina, I started to search what might be the options. And then I found out about service dog certification.
The Nomad Summit Podcast.
In episode 14 of the Nomad Summit Podcast, we talked with a solo female traveler who travels with a cat. That was Mia, who went all the way from Serbia, land-based, via Afghanistan to Vietnam. And today we have a female traveler with a dog. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Tell us your story. What's your name and which countries have you visited and how many with your dog so far?
Great. My name is Sonia. I was born and raised in Russia, and then I started my journey from that point. And actually, my first relocation already was together with my dog. First country was Israel. We spent there a few years. After that, we went to Bulgaria. After that, we changed the continent and moved to Latin America, to Argentina. And this is actually how I started my journey of helping with relocation with the dogs to other people. And after that, it was Thailand, some countries in Asia like Japan and Korea, some European countries. And lately, last week, it was Turkey, Bulgaria, and now we're in Athens.
So your dog has transitioned from being your pet to being your business partner.
Exactly. I believe that now she's the main person actually who runs this business.
So your dog is the CEO and you're the assistant.
Kinda. I'm just trying to move this superstar from the place to the place and record her.
So tell us more about how that lifestyle looks like, traveling with your dog. For how long do you go to countries? You travel on an airplane, I guess. I mean, the countries you mentioned are barely accessible or reachable via land. So help us.
Yeah, sure. Actually, it was a little bit tricky. From my early childhood, I was dreaming to travel with my dog. Like all my life, I was raising with the dogs and so on. And actually, I took when the pandemic started. So we were stuck at home. At nights, when it was possible, we went to forest to walk a little bit, but still it is pandemic. So we are stuck in one place. Then we moved together to Israel, and it was pretty hard. Back then, I started sharing my experience for those people who needed it, because it is really hard to find all the information, which documents you need to prepare, how it's supposed to be, how to book the flights, and so on. But I never thought about it like as a business or whatever. And the thing which is important to mention, she is 19 kilo. So she is pretty big, and normally the airplanes, they accept dogs up to 8 kilo to the cabin. So when we needed to move from Bulgaria to Argentina, I started to search what might be the options, because also the thing is that 14 hours flight in the luggage was too much. So I really dived deep into how to make it. And it was the only concern to go to Argentina, because for me, at that point, it was if I wouldn't find a way how to bring her with me in the cabin and plane, I wouldn't move to Argentina. I planned to go to Italy as an alternative or any other country. And then I found out about service dog certification. So it was super useful for me at that moment as well. And I realized how to make the certification. Like I researched so much. All my friends, when they heard about it, they looked at me like, you are crazy, it wouldn't work, like you're just wasting your time. And you know how many times I heard from people around, like, just find a new family to your dog and that's it, live your life. She will live her happy life. And like the dog and travel is something which couldn't be connected.
Yeah, many people are really restrained when they think about putting their dog into the luggage hold of an airplane. When every dog owner who's done that knows how traumatizing that is and for how long it takes for dogs to get back normal, to recover after that. It sounds to me like you've always lived with a dog. You've grown up with a dog.
In total, in my life, I think I had 3 years without a dog. From my early childhood, I had,
And then you decided to move to Argentina. I guess back then you still had some other job, some remote job that you were doing. What's your professional background?
I was running an online school for kids, and it still work. We help kids from Russian-speaking kids mostly, who live now in US and who live mostly in Israel, to help them to realize like the local educational system, to make smaller the gap between their language and so on. So it still works.
Okay, so that gave you the financial freedom to move to Argentina. So you said move. It's not like your intention was not just to visit for a couple of weeks. You really want to relocate and live there?
I was searching for a new base. That is how it happened. And I thought that it might be Argentina. So I decided to try and to check. But yeah, it was fully moving with all the stuff and everything by myself and my dog.
Moving with stuff means like this was not just a suitcase with your clothes?
Let's say it was 2 suitcases, because I just half of my things I gifted to my friends, half I left and whatever, because it is not possible to take everything with you. So you take the most necessary things, let's say, and you don't know actually which stuff will you need when you will come back, if you will come back or not, or whatever.
So for how long did you live in Argentina then?
I spent there a year, actually, and it was something like, couldn't say that a miracle, but it was one of the biggest probably adventures, because I didn't know if the thing with the certification really work out.
For the dog?
For the dog, if I applied to a right school, because there is a lot of scam in this sphere, unfortunately, and that is why I was searching a lot.
How old were you back then?
I was 27. And I bought the tickets from the 31st December till the 1st January. It was exactly the New Year's night, because I was already far away from my friends and from my family. I didn't want to celebrate New Year alone in the middle of Bulgaria in the forest. So I decided that to take a flight exactly at that night could be a great start for, let's say, new page of the life. And I didn't know anyone in Argentina back then.
And so you were traveling alone with your dog,
of
course?
Yeah. We were going to nowhere, let's say.
Nowhere also means like not into Buenos Aires. You were going to...
No, we at the beginning we came to Buenos Aires and I rented Airbnb for a month and decided, okay, let's see when we'll land, how it would be.
What was then the trigger point for you after a year to transition into what you now live like a nomadic lifestyle?
I saw that Argentina, unfortunately, doesn't work for me, at least at that point. When I left Argentina, I took a round trip. I thought that I'll go to Asia for a bit and then I'll come back. I planned to come back the previous March. So when I saw, okay, I'll try Asia, it would be the next part of conversation. I also tell it about it. Now, I have got a ticket back to Argentina on the beginning of December. So let's see, for a little bit more time, maybe it would be better.
But that means you won't be able to join the Nomad Summit in Chiang Mai in January.
Unfortunately, I plan to be in Latin America.
Okay, I guess many of our listeners of the podcast would love to see you with the dog walk into the Nomad Summit venue.
I would be super happy, but unfortunately not this year. Actually, I came from Thailand 2 months ago and I was living there half a year, but I didn't reach Chiang Mai. It was a big mistake. So Chiang Mai would be for the next time for sure.
Okay. So from Argentina, how did your travel look like then?
From Argentina, I planned to go to Thailand, but I decided, okay, to go like directly from Argentina to Thailand is too far away and you already moved the continent, so I can catch my father's anniversary. And I flight from Argentina to Amsterdam, Istanbul, Moscow. Then from there, we took a transfer like 6 hours through the snow. It was previous December by car. And I reached my hometown. So we celebrated with my parents finally birthday. You know, it is something important because you're far away from your family. And it is great when you're able to catch those moments and to be present there.
So when your parents are still living in Russia, did you move to Israel also alone?
Yeah.
Okay. Very, very brave. And now your main job now is to help other people to also travel with their dog. So how did that transition go from that online school to this new thing?
Honestly, it was really hard for me because I was doing tutoring for 10 years and it is something I really love to do so much. And we were discussing even to open an offline school in Israel. I did a lot of connections about that and so on. So the point when I moved to Argentina, it was hard moment for the school, actually, because a lot of Russian-speaking kids, they started moving and it was not that necessary as the war started for them. So the school went a little bit worse back then. And I also, it was a hard period when you move from the place which you love so much. And at that point, somehow my good friend, she asked me to help her to do the same because she also was moving to Argentina with her dog. I helped her. And then she asked me why don't you do it professionally? And I asked myself why I don't do it professionally. And slowly, step by step, I remember we did the first reels on Ashley is my dog, on her birthday, to check if there would be any interest. And we got a lot of messages and everything. And I thought, okay, maybe it is a good point to start.
Tell us a little bit more about that. I had, at a point in my life, I had cats.
Yeah.
And was traveling on an airplane with one of the cats of my ex-girlfriend back then, even only within the European Union from Berlin to Budapest. And I remember we needed all that, like vaccination certificate and chips and passport for the cat. And fortunately, cat is small enough that it can go inside the cabin. I guess with the dog, and especially if you travel internationally into different continents, that's a completely different game, right?
Kinda. The thing is that there is no some answer which will fit for any country because every case is super individual. It will depend to where you go, from where you go, which breed, because they have got different countries have got different lists of banned breeds. Different airlines have got different lists of breeds which they accept, which they don't accept. And also each airline has got its own policies.
That almost sounds like tax setup or international health insurance.
Being honest, actually, yes, because even in one airline, it might be the situation that some aircrafts, they accept dogs. Some of them, no, because you have got those heat warming stuff in the luggage somewhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in some of the aircrafts, and they accept dog because they could make it normal temperature there. And in totally the same airline, the another aircrafts, they don't have it, so they wouldn't accept. And you have be aware of all those small details.
And so you have established a huge database with that information, or?
We're every day in a big process. Yeah, it is step by step. We're doing already this 1.5 years professionally, and we're every day opening something new for ourselves.
So what was the most outstanding experience in that so far?
We're going to get the first case tomorrow to Emirates. And we're really waiting for that because we have got a lot of potential clients, a lot of people who want to relocate to Dubai and to Abu Dhabi. And till now, we couldn't help them with that. So really, fingers crossed that it will work and everything would be great. Today, I was super happily jumping my clients with a huge Zennenhut. Do you know this breed? They're this size, 60-kilo dog.
Okay.
They're flying in a cabin from Russia to Thailand. They live in Kopangan. And they haven't seen their dogs for 3 or 4 years. He was living with their parents. And today they sent me the videos and texted that I helped their family to make a reunion. And it is an amazing feeling.
Wow. But you're talking about multiple dogs. It's not just one.
This specific dog was one.
Okay.
They were flying 3 hours ago.
Okay, because I was just imagining now a person walking into the aircraft with 3 dogs and occupying a row, or...
You also have got a limited amount of pets which you're able to bring.
I need to process that. But the key to all that is that the dog is a certified assistance dog, or what's the term here?
Like a service dog, but it depends for every special case. Some dogs are able to fly in the cabin because there are up to the necessary weight. For example, some dogs I help to go through the certification process because a lot of people, they think when they hear about service dog, what you got the first idea on mind? What is it?
For blind people.
For blind people, exactly. That is what I believe 90% of people thing. And you have got some information in, let's say, English speaking area, but in Russian speaking, the information, like it is lack of information. But there is a huge variety of the service dogs, and then might be not connected with the huge disabilities. It might be depression, it might be panic attacks, it might be PTSD, heart issues. And also when you have got, for example, a cardiac alert service dog, it is not necessarily huge problems. It might be even the jumps of the blood pressure, because the dog could alert you about that, the thing how it works, if it is interesting, if it makes sense. When a person had got a cardiac episode, he has got a change in his chemistry in the blood. And according to that, the smell changed. The smell of slightly air, the smell of all the body and everything. And the dog is able to learn and to catch this difference in the smell.
Wow. But that also means the dog needs to be trained for that. And also, if you are a perfectly healthy person, it is a long stretch.
Yeah, if you're perfectly healthy, yeah. But the important point which you need to take into an account that there is a still big variety of the things. And about training, yeah, the dog's supposed to be trained and it's supposed to pass some exams, but there is also different kind of certifications. You can make offline certification, and it is really hard. It is a long process, starting from half a year, and you don't have those schools in every country. So it is really hard to get there. I had a few clients who wanted to go to offline certification, but they were not just able to reach it because some of the organizations are on charity. For example, they raise puppies and give them for those who need. And some of them has got a big line to apply. So the process with which I am helping is to go through the certification online. It is much easier and it is achievable for people who live in any point of theirs.
And you will, as a result, have a certificate that's internationally recognized.
It is internationally recognized, but still, as it is an online certification, we understand that not all the airlines accept it. And also, this is also a big part of my work because it is not about just helping to go through the certification process, but exactly to help to give full instruction how to use it and how to relocate. We have got a full list of the airlines which accept. We update it super regularly because our clients share. I fly pretty a lot with my dog, and there is a lot of small details which might make the process hard, but we do it super easy to our clients.
Give me an example.
For example, today, that client which I was talking about, who was flying from Russia to Thailand, she asked me how does the process look in Thailand when you land? Because when you land, it's not just you go out of the airport in some of the countries. You need to go to the wet station inside of the airport. And I sent her the full video, which I recorded a few months ago in Thailand in that airport when she is landing right now. You go to pick up your luggage, then in front of the number 8 baggage claim, you go there, you do full instruction.
Wow. And then at this vet station, you need to show vaccinations and stuff.
Normally, the hardest point is to get out of the country. If they check everything on the check-in. So if they accept you to go, then 90% that in country where you land, everything would be fine. But
I heard stories about countries where you need to give your pet into quarantine first, for 14 days and these kind of things.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this also is the case. In some countries, it helps when you have got a service dog certification. They're trying to make it as less as possible because they are not really allowed to split the dog with your owner because the owner needs the dog. But in some countries, you have a huge quarantine.
So what's the worst country to travel to with a dog?
Australia.
Not surprised.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
But Australia and Japan. Japan is manageable. Australia, we're still figuring out.
Okay. So you mean you don't have a success case yet for
didn't
Australia?
Have clients who plan to go to Australia yet, but also they recognize only offline certifications for service dogs. So it means that it would be a cargo traveling. Also, traveling in luggage could be in different options. It might be traveling just like a luggage and the ticket costs between $100 and $900, or it might be cargo. Cargo you can use in free let's say, cases when the dog is flying without you, when you, for example, relocated first, check, like set everything, and then someone sent your dog to you. Second option, if it is a banned breed, like pit bulls, bull terriers, which are banned in a lot of countries. And when you do this, one-way ticket for the dog when it is in cargo starts from 1,000 till 6,000 for one-way ticket. It is crazy.
So your customers really love their dogs.
Yeah, but when they do a service dog certification, the dog, they get, of course, a lot of benefits because the dog flying with them in a cabin and it flies for free.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I guess also not with every airline. Or...
No. About the airlines, you're supposed to take care. Also, the tricky thing about the airlines is that all of them have got different process of applying for the service dog certification. Because for some airlines, it is enough to text a message, for example, like an email, and you are done and everything works great. And for some of them, you need, if you couldn't go to the head office somewhere, you need to call, I don't know, the last case was my assistant helping me to register my dog to go from Thailand to Istanbul. She called to them 34 times. 34. And every time we got different answers like, no, we don't accept, no, it is impossible, no, we have cat. Until we got a normal employee who knew all the information, how it's supposed to work. And then everything worked.
I was just thinking, like, airlines has this international organization, IATA, where they establish standards on different topics, but obviously not on this topic.
Unfortunately, no. And also the tricky thing here that, okay, you set up everything with the airline, but then you come to check in. And people on check-in also don't know the information. My last case was when I was flying from Thailand to Korea in July, also with my dog. I wanted to visit Seoul and I wanted, being honest, to make a first case to Korea. Because we also had got some questions about it. I couldn't provide any information and I decided, okay, I'm already in Asia, I'll check by myself. And when I came to check-in desk, one employee was checking our documents. Then she called her colleague. Then she called her manager. And after I don't know, half an hour of waiting, the manager asked me did you fly before to Korea? I told no. And she was like, but do you know which documents do you need? I told, yes, of course, this, and this. And she told, I'm sorry, it is the first case when someone is flying with a dog to Korea. We don't know the process. So I had to explain even them.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember similar cases that I'm not a pet owner, but I'm a sailor. And I often travel with my sailing gear that includes a life vest.
Yeah.
And so like an inflatable life vest. And at the beginning, I was also always checking the requirements of the airline. Some of them want them only in the check-in luggage. Some of them want them only in the cabin luggage. Many of them want to be informed in advance or at check-in. And after so many times of informing in advance and sending an email, never getting a reply, I realized no one actually cares. So I stopped that. I just put it in my check-in luggage and I don't inform anyone. Because, this is just the same technology, the same 12-gram CO2 bottle that you have actually under every single seat in the airplane. And so it doesn't make a difference and I don't care anymore. I just travel with it. But with a dog, it's not so easy. You don't just put it into your luggage. People see that you're traveling with a dog.
Exactly. And actually, it is a big surprise for a lot of people because, for example, when we were flying from Israel to Bulgaria with my friends, they took tickets for all of us and I was running to prepare all the documents for my dog to go out. And I called them.
You're traveling with your friends who also have dogs?
They had a cat. I had a dog. We had that beautiful set. And at some point, I decided to, I don't know, to ask them just in case if they finished to prepare all their documents for their cat. And they were like, which documents? No, we didn't anything. And I thought, okay, great. Did you book the ticket also for a cat? And they were like, what do you mean? Which ticket? So it's not obvious when you're doing it for the first time. And
how did you sort it out then?
I helped them to do everything fast.
Okay. So they could travel with you?
Yeah, we fly it all together and we were living after that a few weeks even together with this zoo, so also manage it.
So are people only coming with dogs to you? Or as you now mentioned, zoo, did you have other animals like chicken?
No.
Goats.
Sometimes we got questions about hamsters, parrots, but it is like something really rare. And now we really try to do our best about dogs because there is so many small details about other animals, not for now.
Super interesting. How next steps with your business, next travel?
About business, I have got a big plans. Actually, I really would love to raise a big community from this, because just to do a certification and to help with all this process is important. But I'm about the community. And when I was running a school, my dream was to make a huge community for kids where they would feel belong to. Because especially a lot of people are moving now and it affects everyone. So in my case now, for the dog lovers, it might be, I believe that it is really helpful when you move to another place and you already have got a set of contacts. You know the vet where you might go if something happened. You know which food better to buy. You know the places where it is better to walk with the dog. So I believe that making a big platform and trying to connect it all over the world sounds really ambitious, but step by step we are going to reach this goal.
And there are good examples, for example, when it comes to traveling families and raising kids on the go. 10 years ago, the very first nomad families with their small kids were the pioneers. And now there are communities, there are schools, platforms, events where world schoolers and nomadic families are organizing education together. So I guess the platform for dog owners is the next logical step. So for all of you listening to this podcast now, if you want to reach out to Sonia, what's the best way?
The best way through Instagram for now. Probably I'll send you a link.
Yeah, we put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, great. Also, we can send the link for the website. And I can leave my contacts. I'm really happy to help about that because I went through all this process by myself and I know how it is hard and how it might be frustrating and how might your surrounding be not helpful in that and telling you totally opposite thing. But if you know that it is what you want, it is super reachable and much easier when you already know how it works.
Thank you so much. I hope this helps some of the dog owners among our community to solve some problems and make their life easier. Thank you for listening this week and hear you next week. Every week on Wednesday, we launch a new episode. And if you liked this one here today, subscribe on your favorite platform, send a comment and share the episode with your friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for inviting.
Produced by radioguru.co.uk.